Well, thank you to everybody that's joined us so far today. It's going to be a cozy little event, but hopefully that means we can get to everybody's questions. If you do have any throughout this presentation, please just drop them into the chat. So, thank you for joining our webinar today, where we're going to show you a simple and secure way to deliver pay stubs to your employees online using an employee pay stub portal. My name is Austin. I am the marketing and sales manager here at InStaff, and I am joined by my fellow presenter, Jan, who is an
Hello.
account manager here with us. Hello. And he is going to help me towards the end answer some questions. So just really quickly, how we're going to go about this today, if I can go. I'm just going to provide a little bit of background about us, our solution, why it might be helpful, and then lead that straight into just a quick demo of how it actually works with some information towards the end that you might be interested in. And then at the end, we will have an opportunity to answer any questions that you have asked. Just a little bit about us. Our company is actually called Utility. Um, we are a custom software development specialist. We've been around since 2004. In addition to general programming projects, we also specialize in Sage 300 customizations. And InStaff is a product that we came up with in 2014. It actually started as a custom project for a Sage 300 payroll client that just wanted a simple way to deliver their pay stubs online. At the time, if you were using a system like Sage 300 that didn't offer a way to do online pay stubs, you were probably doing them by paper. Or else if you wanted to get them online through a portal, you probably had to switch payroll systems entirely or pick up a piece of HR software that maybe had a lot more features than you were looking for. So that's why we came up with this dedicated paystub portal that is just really easy to get into. And today InStaff supports customers across pretty much every industry that you can think of and every size range you can think of, from just a handful of employees to multiple thousands. Excuse me. So if you're here today, you might be coming from one of two places. Generally, the first one might be that you're still delivering paper stubs, in which case you may be aware that it can be tedious. It can take quite a bit of time if you got any more than just a handful of employees every pay period. Since you're printing stubs, perhaps you're also stuffing them into envelopes. Perhaps you're even mailing them out. So there's a lot of paper you're using there too. And then from the employee perspective, it is inconvenient at best. Perhaps the stubs are just never there when you need them, you're losing them. And there are privacy issues at worst. People leaving stubs around in the office, perhaps their colleagues are seeing them, and just situations like that. Perhaps you're also coming to us from emailing stubs, in which case you may be aware that there are perhaps privacy concerns and that emails can be left open at people's desks. Some people have shared email accounts with family members. It can still be fairly tedious from an administrative perspective. Perhaps you are password protecting each pay stub that you're sending out. And from the employee side, it is still a bit more disorganized than a portal, in that if you're looking for any given pay stub, you're probably combing through your inbox as opposed to having just a central repository of your stubs that you can access. So that being said, why consider a portal, and especially our portal InStaff? Well, uh, this allows you to make the pay stub process completely paperless. It is a fast process, which I will show you shortly. All you need to do after you've finished running your payroll is to take that pay stub file, log into your portal, upload it. Our system will take care of the rest. And even for large pay stub files of hundreds or thousands, this is a process that only ever really takes a few minutes. It is also comparatively more secure, especially our application goes through annual security testing. It uses industry standard application security measures. Employees will have to maintain a separate login and password for this application, and they'll get timed out, for instance, if they're logged in too long with no activity. And perhaps most beneficially for the employees, it is extremely convenient. Our application is accessed from anywhere, any device that has an internet connection, be that your employees' mobile phones, their computers at home, tablets, whatever that may be, so that their pay stubs and or tax forms are available to them whenever they need them, 24/7. And with that background, I'm just going to jump right into it. Um, if you have any questions during the presentation, please just throw them into the chat and we will get to them afterwards. What I'm going to do today, and some of you may be familiar with this paystub file, is I'm going to upload the sample paystub file of 10 employee paystubs generated from a system called Sage 300. And this Sage 300 produces a paystub file that you might be familiar with in that we call them batched files, meaning that there are multiple employee paystubs in a single PDF file here. And what our system's going to do is it's going to, after you upload this, is it's going to read it. It's going to figure out who the employee is. It's going to read information like the check number, the date, and especially important, the employee ID, which our system's going to use to match the pay stub to the correct employee. It's going to split these into the individual stubs and get those out to the correct employee. Now, if you happen to be using a system that produces individual PDF stubs for each pay stub, that's totally okay too. In that case, all you would need to do is zip those up into a zip folder, upload the zip folder, and our system is going to work in exactly the same way. But for today's presentation, we are going to upload this batch file here. So let's get to that. What you're looking at here, and I'll zoom in a little bit just in case it's a little hard to see, is the login screen of an InStaff portal. Now, each company does get their own InStaff portal. You can see here that our demo portal is accessed at yourcompanyname.instaff.org. And there's a placeholder image here for where your company logo could go. So I'm going to log in now as an administrator. You know, let's say I'm a payroll administrator. I've just finished running payroll for the period, and I've generated this PDF pay stub, and now I want to get these pay stubs out to my employees. All I need to do is log in with my admin account. And I'm in. So you're looking here now at the main InStaff dashboard. You'll notice that there are a whole ton of, we call them add-on features on the side that do different things, like hosting other kinds of files, providing a company directory. We have time tracking features and whatnot. These are all completely optional, and we're not going to go into them today. Although if you are interested, you know, after this presentation, let us know, and we'd be happy to talk to you more about those. But you see them all here on the side because all of them are active in our demo portal. Say, for instance, you were only using your portal for pay stubs and tax forms, that's all you would see here, so as to not confuse anybody. But that being said, let us upload that pay stub file. So once you've logged in, all you need to do is navigate to your admin tools here and find the Upload Pay Document screen. On the Upload Pay Document screen, you select your document type. We create a configuration in your portal that's going to read your specific stub format. So for this case, we have this Sage 300 pay stub file. So we're going to select our Sage 300 stubs. We're going to upload that file, this one right here, sample pay stubs 2021. And we're also going to enter just the number of pay documents in the batch. This is just one of many checks that our system does to ensure, in this case, that we are parsing the correct number of documents compared to what you're expecting. And if those numbers are mismatched, then we're going to present you with an error instead of publishing anything erroneously. With that being said, let's go ahead and upload that. So after you click upload, you can see now under the status that the PDF is processing. So what this means is what I said earlier, our system is currently going through it. It's reading the stub, figuring out who it belongs to, splitting them up. And you can see with a 10 pay stub file like we have here, it is ready for preview really quite quickly, just a matter of seconds, really. And even for hundreds or thousands of pay stubs in a file, it would never really take more than just a few minutes. But once this file is ready for preview, all you need to do is click preview and verify over here on the side, and you will be taken to the preview screen. On the preview screen here, you can verify and check any employee's pay stub individually. You can see the information that we've pulled from each one, and you can see, take for instance Marilyn, our first employee in this batch. Marilyn has indeed had her pay stub separated from the rest of them, and this is what she's going to receive once we publish these. So our system has gone up and split those stubs out, and now we can go ahead and publish those to our employee accounts. So we can publish these in one of two ways. We can publish them immediately with this green Accept Parse Document button, or we can actually schedule a publish time for later in the future. Say, for instance, we're, running payroll earlier on in the week. Employees aren't getting paid until Friday, and we want to have the stubs line up with when they get paid. You can certainly do that. But in this case, we're just going to go ahead and accept and publish this document right away. So that's actually it as far as publishing them goes. They're now posted into your employee accounts. At this point, as an administrator, you can set up notifications that will go out to your employees, email notifications letting them know that they have a new pay stub available for viewing. So what I'm going to do now is show you that from the employee side. I'm going to go to Marilyn's account, actually, that employee that we took a look at. So I'm just going to open up a new tab. So let's say I am Marilyn and I just received an email letting me know that I have a new pay stub available for viewing. All I need to do is go to that same portal and log in with my account. Once I'm in, you'll notice that the view is very similar to that of the administrator's dashboard. The only difference is we do not have the administrator functionality. But once I'm in, to see the pay stub, all I need to do is click See Pay Stubs either here or on the side. And you'll see that pay stub that we just uploaded right here. If we click View, we can view that pay stub right within the application, or we can print it, or just save it to our device, whatever we would like to do. And in this pay stub folder here in my account, I'm going to have a chronological history of all of my pay stubs. And that very simply is the pay stub uploading and viewing process. Tax forms are going to be very similar. You're going to upload them through the same screen, and employees are going to access them through the tax forms folder here. And with that, I'm going to get back to the rest of my presentation. So at this point, you may be thinking, well, that looks really great and simple. Maybe we're interested in taking a look at this, but how much does it cost? Well, our pricing structure is very simple. It is based directly upon your usage. So specifically on the number of pay stubs or tax forms that you're uploading, and that's going to be 35 cents per pay stub or tax form. So for example, if you are uploading 200 pay stubs in a month, say you're a 100 employee company that pays their employees twice a month. So that's 200 pay stubs a month at 35 cents. That's going to be about $70 a month for pay stubs. The only cost additional to that is a one-time setup, implementation, and training fee, which starts at $300 for companies under 500 employees. This is going to cover our creating your portal, configuring your pay stubs, helping you get started, providing training for your admins. And as for support, well, that is always included for your administrative users. In fact, you would reach out to Jan most likely, and he could help you out with any kind of technical issues or questions that you might have. And then lastly, our model is a subscription model. It is a monthly subscription model, so typically you will be billed monthly for the usage of the previous month, and you are always welcome to cancel at any time. Now, that being said, we do offer a 1 month free trial where you are free to use InStaff fully to evaluate, whether or not it is for you. And if you like it towards the end and you want to move forward, then that's great. But if you don't and it's not what you expected, you are free to walk away from your trial, and we're not going to charge any of this. So the usage for your trial month or the setup fee or anything. So that is truly what we call a risk-free trial. So now, if you are wondering how to get started with that trial, the process goes a little something like this. So after this presentation, I'm going to send out a follow-up email that will provide some steps that you can follow to actually get started. But in general, you're going to get in touch with us, either indicating that you want to start a trial or perhaps you want to actually see a personal demo, which we would be happy to provide as well. Maybe you want to look at some other features or just dive a little bit deeper into our solution. But once you are ready to start a trial, we're going to send you a portal setup form for you to fill out. And that portal setup form is going to have all the information that we need from you in order to create your portal. So stuff like what your chosen domain name is, who you choose your administrative users to be, what features you'd like active. After we receive that form, it typically takes us about 1 to 2 business days to actually create the portal. Once the portal is created, we're going to reach out to you to schedule a setup call with you where we're going to help you get started and assist you with some first-time setup items like inviting employees and creating their accounts. And finally, after that setup call, you should be well versed in InStaff and ready to go. You'll then receive your login credentials and you should be able to start your trial. And towards the end of that trial, if you decide that you want to continue using it, then you can just use that exact same portal that you started with on your trial. And with that being said, I think let's just get into any questions that anybody has. Keep it short. Jan, I can't actually see the questions, so if you could just read them out to me.
No problem at
Be
all.
like that.
So the first question we have here is from Nolan, and he's asking, how long does implementation take?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually a very simple process to get started. And in general, the answer to that is that we can move at your pace. So to actually create the portal and configure Paystubs, that's something that we can do within a day, for instance. What tends to hang up the process a little bit sometimes is if there's some delay in getting us the Paystubs, like a sample Paystub that we need to use to configure your portal with, or maybe you need to reformat it to include an employee ID, or you need to provide us a list of your employees to upload. So there are some first-time setup items that you do need to do, but if you are committed to doing that as quickly as possible, then we can move at your pace. So if things are simple enough, then it's definitely plausible that an InStaff portal can be set up and ready to go easily within a week.
Okay. And then the next one I've got here is from Melanie, and it says, you mentioned that the program scans the pay stubs for the employee number. What happens if an employee number gets changed in Sage 300?
Jan, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So with regards to the employee number, so the employee number is the unique identifier that we are using to match up the employee to the particular pay stub. Within InStaff, like in Sage 300, you are able to change the employee ID. So if you were to change the employee ID in Sage 300, we would just have to make the corresponding change within InStaff, and then afterwards, those numbers will match up again. But based on the employee ID and employee number that we find on the pay stub, that's how they get matched up to the employee. If in the end that the change does get created on Sage 300 and the employee ID is different on the pay stub, we can afterwards, after the fact, merge the two accounts that get created together to have everything going into the same account. Okay. And the next question here is from Maria. There's two questions. So is there a limit for users? And second, how would you go ahead and create the employee accounts and invite them?
Right. So First question, very simply, no, there's no limit for users. This is not license-based or anything like that. So you can have as many administrative users as you need and as many employees as you need, and we're just pricing based on the actual documents uploaded. And as for the second question, creating accounts. So there's a few ways that you can do that. At any time, you can create them manually, one by one. Just in your manage users page, say if you have a new employee coming on and you just need to create their account. But if you're starting at the beginning, for instance, and you need to create a whole ton of accounts at once, like you're doing the initial upload of employee accounts, generally what you're going to do for most systems is you're going to use our CSV import option. And what we'll do is provide you a template, with the information that you need to fill out, like the employee names, their email, the employee ID, into that template, and then you upload that CSV, and our system is going to automatically create those accounts. For Sage 300, we also have an optional employee updater, Sage 300 employee updater application, which will actually integrate with your Sage 300, and that can help you create those accounts very quickly as well, as it's going to pull that information from Sage and create those accounts automatically in InStaff. Now, once the accounts are created, what you have to do then is invite your employees onto InStaff once you're ready. So you can do that two ways, I believe. The first would be if you happen to have their emails, and that's probably the best way. You can send them out an email invite, and that's going to go into their email inboxes with a link that they can follow, where they'll be able to set up their password, create their password for the first time. And after they've done that, they can log in and out of their account freely. If you do not happen to have their emails, and that's not an easy thing for you to obtain, or perhaps they don't have emails, you can use a token access method where you can physically print out a link and a token for each employee, and say include it with their last paper pay stub, and they can follow that link, type it in, and it's going to be the same thing. They can create their password from there like that.
Okay, thank you. And we've got one more here from Nolan. Can terminated employees still access their pay stubs?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best practice that we recommend actually is to have your employees sign up with their personal emails, for the reason that if they are terminated or they leave your employment, what you're able to do as an administrator under the manage users page is actually mark them as inactive. So an employee that's marked as inactive will still be able to access the portal for their own personal information. So they'll still be able to see their pay stubs, their tax forms. But say, for instance, you were using the portal for other companies' sensitive information, like announcements that you're giving to your employees, they wouldn't be able to see those items. So short answer to that, yes, you just need to mark them inactive, and they'll still be able to access the portal with limited access to see their pay stubs and tax forms.
Okay, and that looks like it's the end of our questions here. Does anyone else happen to have any questions? So we'll give them a couple of minutes just in case they can think of any.
Well, also, if you do have any questions following this presentation that you hadn't thought of at the time, please do reach out to us, and we will always be happy to answer them whenever you ask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, so it doesn't look like anyone else happened to have any questions. Austin, you want to just let them know what we're going to be doing afterwards and how we'll be
Yes.
reaching out?
Absolutely. So I'm going to send a follow-up email, as I mentioned, to the email address that you registered for this webinar with. I will provide a recording of this webinar, as well as next steps on how you can get in touch with us, in case you want to start a trial or see a demo or just ask some more information. And then you can also always get in touch with us on your own. You can email us at contact@instaff.org. And if you'd like to dig for more information yourself, you can go to instaff.org as well. And with that, I think we can probably wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we will be in touch shortly and hope to hopefully see you on InStaff. So thank you, everybody, for your time. Thanks, Jan.
Okay.
And have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.